Hi, everybody, and welcome to Simply Cards by Kathi. Today is Tuesday, March 18th, 2025, and I am looking forward to being here with you today. I apologize for delaying tonight's video, or last night's video, to today, but we had a death in the family, and I just didn't feel like I could come on and do the video last night. Today I have 3 cards we're going to do, so it's going to be busy. I want to show you 3 different ways to use one of the Everyday Arches die set, and also the Arched Wishes stamp set. So if you're new to my channel, welcome. I am so happy you're here and found me. I hope you'll like what you see and hit that subscribe button. And if you're with me live or catching me on the replay, thank you so much for taking time out of your day to be with me. I enjoy being here with you. I have a lot to show you, so I am going to flip this camera down so we can get started. Okay, before we even start with card number 1, I just want to show you the supplies I'm using, and I will be using the same supplies throughout all 3 cards. So I am using the Arched Wishes stamp set. This is a cling stamp set, and it was actually made to go with the Everyday Arches dies. You can see the arched sentiments, and we're actually going to be using pretty much everything on here tonight, and several of these dies. The other thing that I'm using is the Dashing Designs embossing folder. I'll be using that on, I think, 2 of the cards, maybe 1 of the cards. So that's what I'm using. The Designer Series paper is the Wildflower Birthday. Now mine is really chopped up. I'm waiting for another set to come. But what I have left is has some foil inlay to it, really soft spring-like colors. You can see really beautiful paper. And when you turn it over, the other sides are prints. You have like a gingham, you have a leaf, you have just like a Swiss dot, and then you have a stripe. And then you get 2 pieces that have these little tags and other parts that you can cut with your trimmer and add those to your cards. So I am going to be, that's what I'll be using tonight. So let's start with our first card. So the first card is going to be pretty in pink. Now, all of my card bases are cut tonight 4 1/4 by 11, scored at 5 1/2. And I will have a downloadable PDF with all of the measurements for all 3 cards and the supplies for you by tomorrow at the end of the day. So sit back and relax and don't worry about measurements. This is going to be a pretty easy card. For my layer, I am going to use a piece of the Wildflower Birthday Designer Series paper. This is cut at 4 5 1/4, and that's going to be layer number 1. Now, these are pretty easy cards. They're good for a beginner, or just great just for even if you've been crafting for several years like I have. They're still really fun and easy cards to do. So I'm just going to go ahead and add this onto my card base, and so that we have a nice edge all the way around. And then I am using, I'm going to show you, because I want you to understand how I'm counting for the PDF. I am going to identify the dies I'm using, always counting from the largest. So for this one, I used 2 dies. I used die the 4th largest, which is this green designer series paper. And I've used the 5th largest. So always counting from large to small, just so that you have a reference point, because there's nothing like going to make the cards and going, now which die is that I need to cut? So I did cut the larger arch from a piece of the designer series paper from Wildflower Birthday. The card I'm going to show you that I did similar to this, I used cardstock. So that is going to be our second layer. Now, I took and cut the 5th one, the 5th largest is basic white. And I want to use one of those sentiments that kind of curves. So I want to show you how I set that up on the card. So what I did is just lay this onto where I want to stamp it. And then I also laid my cupcake so that I had an idea of just how that was going to stamp. Now, did I cut the right size for that? I'm sure I did. I did. All right, so looked a little smaller from looking on the card. So this is going to be right here. And what you do is once you have it placed and you're happy with it, you can go ahead and take your block and simply pick it up. All right, now I know placement, and I'm going to go ahead and ink up my stamp, and we're going to go ahead and stamp it. So let's grab some ink here and ink this up. So I'm using Tuxedo Black Memento ink because I am going to color the image with Stampin' Blends. And then I'm just going to line this up on a line, and I'm going to come in, and I hope my head isn't in the way, but just give it a good press. And then go ahead and pick it up. So you can see that you have your stamped image. Now this one I'm going to color, and I am using Stampin' Blends. I'm going to use, I wanted to pull the colors from the paper. So naturally I use Soft Sea Foam and Pretty in Pink. And I think this time I'm going to color, start off with my dark Soft Sea Foam. And I'm just going to, I'm very light-handed when I'm coloring. I'm just going to go around the edge here, and I'm using my dark first. And then I just do wisps. I just really like wisping motion to in one direction. I'm going to turn it around. It's easier for me to push the color away from me than it is to pull it towards me for some reason. And now I'm going to take my Soft Sea Foam, and there's lots of ways to use your blends, and I'm just going to lightly go over it, very lightly, and pulling that color from one side to the other. And what I'm hoping to get is some variation in the color that looks like I have some light shining on that cupcake paper. Now I'm going to use some of I am going to go with the Pretty in Pink. We're going to start with our dark, and we're going to do pink frosting. And I'm going to do the same. I'm going to go and just pull the dark through. And I don't know about you, but I love to color. And I like to try doing it in different ways. This is one of the ways that I have found is easiest for me. I try to use the side of my brush so that I'm not using the tip and don't distort the tip. And now I'm going to go back with my light, and I'm just going to run from side to side real lightly. And this one I am going to try to pull towards me so I don't run into the candle. And that gives me some variation in the color of my pinks and greens. And hopefully you can see that. Now I'm going to come back in with my dark, make sure it's dark, soft seafoam. And with the smaller tip, I'm just going to color my candle every other one. So super easy. All right. Now to add just a little bit of whimsy to it, one of the stamps has like sprinkles for the cupcake. I'm actually going to use them to put around the bare spots. And to do that, I'm just going to kind of gently, and I'm just going to add a couple. I'm going to come on over here and add a few, and then maybe right here. All right, that looks pretty good. So that's easy peasy. And we're going to adhere this to our front of our card base. And then I am going to pop this on with Stampin' Dimensionals. So I'm just centering this. And then we're going to add some dimensionals to this. Where did they go? Here they are. I hope you had a good weekend and had some fun. Either some stamping or time with family and friends. I was supposed to be in Raleigh in North Carolina for our Stampin' Up on stage. And with our family member not doing well, I canceled on Wednesday and wanted to be home for my cousins and my family. So, but it looks like everybody had a phenomenal time. And I have ordered some of the pre-order, and they will be coming, I believe, tomorrow. And I will share those with you. I'm excited to see them myself. So, all right, let's add this to here. So you already have your greeting on here, and this just makes a nice layer. And then for the inside of our card, I am going, what did I do with it? I had it right here. I thought we'd add just a strip of matching Pretty in Pink that's a 1/2 inch by 5 5 1/4, and then the designer series paper is 3/8 by 5 1/4. And I thought we'd just add that right to the edge, and then we'll add that to the inside of our card and go on to card number 2. This is a really versatile set. The paper, a little bit harder to work with for masculine cards, but I actually have a masculine card that we're going to make tonight using this set and paper, and show you how you can easily switch that up to that. So let's add this to our inside, and we'll go on to card number 2. Now I want to show you, before we do that, the card I made. It's the same as this one, except instead of designer series paper, I did use soft seafoam cardstock. And then I leave my insides blank till I'm ready to send them. Now to add a little bling to this, I did pull out my 2024-2026 shimmer gems. Let me bring those out. And we do have Pretty in Pink here. So I'm just going to add a few of these, and I'm going to use some of the big ones. And let's add one here and one here. And I am going to keep these, let's do a little one here. Right onto the white. I think you see them and they don't get lost as much. So here's the other card that I made. And you can see it's the same piece of tape, but instead of the designer series paper for the layer, I used soft seafoam cardstock. And what did I do on the inside of this one? Instead of the strip, I stamped a balloon and added some of the confetti. Oh, thank you, Linda, very much. So card number 1. So let's go on to card number 2. I'm going to set these off to the side so we have some room here. All right, card number 2, we're going to be using some blueberry bushel. And I am going to bring in my pieces for you. We're going to be using blue basic white for our card base, and we're going to be using some blueberry bushel, and it is embossed with the embossing folder that I showed you earlier, and it is going to be layer number 1. So again, 4 1/4 by 11, scored at 5 1/2. And just going to give this a good burnishing. Typically, I flip them over. I find that mine lay a little flatter if I burnish from both sides. And we're going to go ahead and just add this to our front of our card. So let's do this. That looks pretty straight. Now, for this one, I used 3 of these arches and pulled them in. So for these, I used the 5th largest, counting down. I used the 6th largest, and then I used the 7th. Now, you can easily count from smallest to larger, but I tend to, I don't know why, but I go from large to small, and that I just kind of stay in that same pattern. Now here, I cut some arches. One, the largest, was from the basic white, and then I cut 2 from designer series paper. Now, the smallest arch was cut from one of these tags, and I loved the color and I wanted to add it, so I used the tag to cut and from the tag, and this is what I got. You could even then use the gold like under a sentiment or something, so that you didn't waste it. So for this one, we're going to set these off to the side for a minute. And here, I want to use the balloon that's part of this stamp set. So mine is mounted. Hi, Diane. Thank you for joining. And we're going to go ahead and add this to our largest arch here. And I am going to put it on the diagonal. And we're going to color this. I'm going to do the blueberry bushel. Now, not only did I do blueberry bushel, I pulled in light boho blue. So I'm going to use all 3 of them. And to do this, I'm going to start off just like you saw me. I'm going to go ahead and add my dark, and I'm just going to pull through, or I guess pull away from me or push away from me. And I'm just adding real light, like flicking movement. And I'm just going to go up here on the rim and add a little bit. Okay. Now I'm going to come in with my light boho blue, and I'm going to flip it around because that's just what's easier for me. And I'm not going to meet the colors. I want this to have some light to it. It almost looks like it shines. And I'm not going to be real even in my strokes. Now I'm going to come in with that light boho blue, and I'm going to pull my color from dark to light, and I'm going to go clear across my balloon. And this will blend those colors together. Now, I'm going to let this dry, because alcohol markers, if you keep adding to them, you don't let them dry and blend, and then you're not really sure what color you're getting. So I'm going to let that go for a minute, but we're going to add some of our little confetti. And let me go ahead and clean this off. I have a baby wipe here, and I'm just going to add a few of these up and around here, just to give it a little bit of some added texture. And again, it brings in my colors for me. And let's go ahead and just do a little bit here. I'm going to re-ink and do just a few here. All right. And then I'm going to take a look at my balloon. Now that's a little bit lighter than I'd like, so I'm going to go back over, because it's dry, and just add a little bit more color to it. So I'm just going to pull through and let that dry. So now we're ready to put these on. So I'm going to add this one. This is Designer Series paper first. These are going to be adhered to one another, or to the card front, just like that. And then this is going to go over it. So I'm going to use glue on these, the multi-purpose glue. And then we're going to add our basic white with our stamping with dimensionals, just to give it a little pop. And let's add this one here. I want to make sure that I have a similar border with both of these. All right. And then here's our balloon. And I wanted it to look like it had some light shining on it. So I'm pretty pleased with that. And we're ready to add some dimensionals. So let me grab my dimensionals here and pop those on. There is some really beautiful stamp sets coming out in the new catalog. I've not seen the new catalog in person, but the demonstrators were able to see the virtual catalog as of yesterday afternoon. And there is really some beautiful stamp sets and some different whimsical ones. So I'm excited for you to be able to see those. Let's go ahead and pop this on. And then we're going to put our greeting on. Let's get these off here. So there we are. So let's put this on. And I want this to kind of be between the two. And let's go up just a little bit. And I want about the same border on each side. Okay. And then I did stamp a sentiment here. Let's see where it went. It's here somewhere. Well, it's bound to show up. I always lose something. While we do this, here's the inside. I redid the balloon, and I'm going to leave my inside blank so that I can stamp a sentiment. And my sentiment for here was happy birthday. And I'm guessing it fell when I took everything out of my little carton here, and will show up um, as we finish up or as I move on to the next card. So let's go ahead and add this, and I'll show you the other card I did. And it has the sentiment on it. So let's do this. So a lot of stamping. And this card is the same one as this, but different paper. So this could be a great masculine card. You have some stripes and just some real fine dashes or dots, where this one I used floral with the same paper. So, and then my greeting will go across here, and we're going to add some gems. Well, we may come back and add the gems because they're missing also. So, but that's what it would look like. And on this inside, I did the stripe or the strips. And on this one, I did the balloon. And you can see how the coloring lets it look like the light's hitting it. So that's card number 2. So let's go on to card number 3. Now for card number 3, I used the second largest of these Everyday Arches dies. And we are going to do a card using soft seafoam. I have another one to show you that'll be similar to this, that could be a masculine card. So for this one, I did 2 things. I cut a piece that was 4 by 5 1/4. I centered that second largest arching die and cut a hole out. Now you have this to use for another card. My camera's tipping. So I'm just going to set that aside and use later. I then cut a same size out using basic white. And we're going to kind of fit this into here. Almost like a window, but not quite. So we're going to go ahead and add this. Now this would be another more feminine card because of the flowers, but the one I'm going to show you like this is more of a masculine card. So I'm just adding a little bit of multi-purpose glue here, and I'm going to center this on my card base. And just now, as we do this, this is going to fit right in here so that it's framed in. But this one, I want to use the very large sentiment in this set that says, "Cheers to another year of you." So I'm going to, I took that sentiment and I mounted it on a large block. And to do that, before I did it, I actually laid it down on my arch like you saw me do earlier for the smaller one, and from where I would like it, and then just picked it up. So let's go ahead and look what I did. I guess I did not clean that as well as I thought I did, or maybe I didn't clean it at all. I don't know. So I have a second one here. And this is likely not going to line up, but let's try it since I already got something on it. Not bad. So there is our sentiment. And we're going to go ahead and now decorate this one. So let's go ahead and do that. Let me grab a few things. You saw me do a cupcake earlier, so I've already stamped that. And we're going to go ahead and add a balloon to this. So let me grab my balloon and ink that up. So this one, we're using both the balloon and the cupcake. Now the balloon, I'm going to add right to our arch. And I'm going to color this balloon with the soft sea foam. And I'm going to start off again with the dark. And just go ahead and add. Now you certainly can color this any way you want to. This is just how I'm most comfortable doing it. Okay, and then I'm going to add just a little bit over here, and I'm just pulling towards me, which you can see I'm not as comfortable doing. All right, and now I'm just going to go over it with my light, and I'm just going to pull it all the way across. Okay, and we're going to let that dry for a minute. Now, our cupcake is going to get mounted right like this. So it looks like the balloon and the cupcake are together. And I did color my cupcake with peach pie because that's one of the colors in this paper, and the blueberry bushel. Now you can see I took a piece off the edge of my because I wanted to protect that candle from kind of getting mashed down, especially if I put this in the mail. So I took a piece off the edge of my Stampin' Dimensionals, cut it real thin. Hopefully you can see that. And then just mounted that on there. So I'm putting my cupcake off to the side just a little bit here. All right, and then we're going to add kind of like the glow from the flame of the candle on there. So I have Daffodil Delight here, and I'm just going to come in, and you can see that. And now we're ready to adhere this into our cut panel. Now you could pop this up if you wanted to. I'm going to glue mine right into it, especially since the cupcake is popped up. I think it'll be a little bit easier to mail without having 2 layers with dimensionals. But that's just me. And this fits right in that die cut because you use the same size arch. And just pop it right in there and press it down. Now, because this is a masculine card, I chose some different, I chose to use the adhesive back textured dots. They're almost like a gold, and they are textured, but I thought it was just a little bit more masculine. I didn't want to add any bling to it. So I'm going to take a small one here and add that right in the center of the flame. And then we're just going to add a couple more. I'm going to put one here and put one, let's put one down here. And then for the inside of my card, I would likely just do the balloon or add a strip of the paper with soft sea foam to that. but I did not cut that because I thought I'd do a balloon, but I think I want to add a strip. Now here's the other matching one. Again, a masculine card. I used the blueberry bushel, same card. You can see I stamped the little confetti on this one that I did not do on this one. So let me bring these all back in for you. So 3 really easy cards using the do 3 easy cards. You could use this for fun folds. You can use it for step cards. There's a lot you can do with it. So I hope you enjoyed these. I hope you'll give them a try. Again, the link to my website will be in the YouTube video description right down below. By end of the day tomorrow, well, you'll be able to go and get that PDF and either download it or print it so that you have what you need to recreate these cards. I hope you have a great Wednesday. I will be back with you on Thursday evening at 7 o'clock for some fun fold time. And take care and stay safe. Bye, everybody.